Bill, back to Jim Comey, if we could. The investors have looked at this prepared testimony, and judging by the markets, they've decided there's nothing here that creates any legal jeopardy for the president. Would you agree?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't think, I mean, if he had demanded that the investigation be closed into Russia, that would have been one thing. I think probably the closest it comes is trying to talk about Flynn and saying, hey, he's a good guy, and can you see fit to move past that? That probably would be the closest thing in my eyes. And
could we all agree that Flynn was mistreated by our government, that his rights were violated?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I am nuanced enough to be able to tell you that about the Flynn situation, because you may have more facts than I do about it. So I don't know that I can agree with that, but I'm not going to disagree with it either. So.
But what about the unmasking and the spying under the Obama administration? I mean, we're talking about this day in and day out now. We know that Rand Paul was spied on. He said it. He told us that. Then he was unmasked. Lindsey Graham said that he was also unmasked. What's your take on what went on and whether or not there was criminality here?
So, Maria, I would love to give you my take on it, but I don't have a take on that. So I don't want to talk to something that I'm not prepared to talk about. So.
This is the moment that people are going to be focused on that as well, James Freeman.
Well, and I think this is a question whether Mr. Comey is going to be able to come in, do what he wants to do, serve himself, drop a few bombs on the president, and not discuss things that he doesn't want to discuss. But I think that's what a lot of American people would like these senators and Mr. Comey to discuss today.
He's going to be used. Expect Jim Comey to use Robert Mueller as cover for him if he's asked anything specific about the ongoing Russia investigation by the FBI. But again, it raises the issue of can he use Mueller to block him if he's asked about unmasking during the Obama administration.
To cherry pick the questions that he wants to answer.
Or say that I'm a private citizen, I can no longer. I'm interested to see how hard he gets pressed, particularly by these Republican lawmakers.
Bill, what do you think? Should that be on the table, this kind of questioning?
Well, I think it should be on the table, but again, when you're talking about a current investigation, I don't think that Jim Comey is going to talk about that, but I do think you're going to hear a lot about all the conversations that he had with Donald Trump. I expect that he'll walk through that painstakingly, and he's quite a storyteller, if you'll remember when he testified in 2007. So.
Yeah, so you think he could hide behind, as it relates to Hillary Clinton, there's still an active investigation, and I can't discuss it.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
Did he always keep memos? I mean, you know, these memos that he wrote, like after the dinner with President Trump, he kept a memo and wrote what Trump had asked him. In your working with him, was this a regular thing that Jim Comey would keep memos after each meeting?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great question, Maria, because I don't think he kept memos in the normal course of things, but I think he did with regard to Donald Trump, because one thing I know about Jim Comey is that he has a phonographic and a photographic memory. Everything he hears and everything he sees, he remembers, but I think that he felt compelled to do that given the situation.
Do you think he took memos about Hillary Clinton and Loretta Lynch when there was all this pressure and there was an active investigation of Hillary Clinton during the election?
You know what? I wouldn't doubt that he did. Obviously, I haven't heard any that he has, but I certainly understand why he did with regard to Trump, and I would think probably he did in regard to that situation, too.
Bill, should he be asked about why this information was leaked to the press in the first place? Because clearly somebody he was close to had permission to go to, say, the New York Times with what was in these memos. And some of the reporting was accurate, and some of it has not been accurate.
Well, I think those are fair questions for him if he knew about a leak. I'm not sure he's going to tell you that he knew about a leak, and at least the reports that I have seen is that when he discussed it with Trump, he said that he would try to get to the bottom of it and put an end to it.
Well, what is your take on all of these leaks going on? I mean, isn't it fascinating to look at the intelligence community or some people within the intelligence community who have been actively leaking things to obstruct President Trump's agenda and sort of go against the president? Have you ever seen this kind of behavior before, Bill?
No, but I've never seen the kind of behavior in D.C. like we're seeing right now, quite frankly. But it is wholly inappropriate to be leaking this kind of information. And we see just the other day that the Justice Department has taken steps towards that end by prosecuting at least that one individual that we know of that did leak information.
All right, Bill, good to have your insights this morning. Thanks so much.
Great to be here, Maria.
Bill
Thank you.
Mateja joining us there.